G'day Virtual Pilots, it's Requiem, and today we're going to have a look at the defensive spiral. This maneuver is essentially rolling scissors in the vertical going down, and this is an option for you if you have slow airspeed, high altitude, and a bandit in close behind you. So to lure the bandit into a defensive spiral, we're going to pull towards him in a turn, but it's going to be slightly nose low, and as he tries to match his bank angle with yours to take his tracking shot, we're going to increase our roll rate so our bank angle is just ahead of his. Then we're going to be idle power, and we start pulling towards the lift limit while continuing the roll towards him. Now the bandit starts moving forward on our canopy because he's accelerated faster than us. This results in an overshoot, and this gives us a few options. We can either continue pulling G in the spiral and staying behind the bandit in a defensive position, or the bandit may want to extend away, or the other option is for you to attempt an extension yourself when you can maximize that heading crossing angle. The defensive spiral is a maneuver you'll use if you're at low airspeed and the bandit's in close behind you and you have a lot of altitude available. Your goal is going to be to lure the bandit into your nose-low turn leading to the spiral, and hopefully you can force him to overshoot or break off, or create a position that you can extend from the bandit with. To do so, you're going to begin that nose-low turn and begin your roll so your bank angle stays ahead of the bandit so he can't get a tracking shot, and you'll be at idle throttle. In the spiral, you're going to be pulling to the lift limit and rolling, so you can keep the lift vector pointed at the bandit throughout the maneuver. You can further minimize your acceleration by extending things such as the landing gear flaps or speed brakes if you need to, but it's important that you avoid hitting the ground and losing consciousness by pulling too much G. So here we're going to start this spiral from about 10,000 feet. As the bandit gets in closer, we'll start turning towards him, and we can see him commit to his tracking shot by getting our bank angles matched. So then we're going to start that nose low turn and rolling to keep our bank angle ahead of him. We're going to bring that power to idle and start pulling to the lift limit. Trying to get that lift vector pointed on him, continuing the roll. See the G increases a fair bit there, and we start getting near the grey out. So we're trying to hold the G here as we're watching the bandit at the same time. Now we're getting close to the ground and our heading crossing angle is going to be high, so this is a good time to try an extension. So we'll roll it out here and we'll extend in the opposite direction from the bandit, and he would have been close to blacking out as well, so probably difficult for him to even maintain sight of us, and this way we can escape unnoticed. If you're in the defensive spiral and you want to extend, you should begin the extension after you've maximized the heading crossing angle between you and the bandit. Remember that when you have a high heading crossing angle, this will allow you to increase the separation between you as fast as possible during the extension. And if you're both greying out due to pulling a high G in the spiral, this will actually make it harder for the bandit to track you when you begin the extension. So hopefully that'll increase your chances of a successful escape. Sorry for the audio on this one, but I found it on my hard drive and I thought it was a good example to use, as it shows the importance of why you need to pay attention to where the ground is when you're doing this maneuver. I'm taking some long range shots here with my nose high, and this inadvertently will end up leading to a stall because I'm not paying attention. So I'm holding it up, trying to get my shot, and I'm holding up for too long. 109 is more energy than me, so I have to just give up on it. Start stalling out a little bit. Now the 109 starts coming down on me, so I need to get my airspeed back a little bit here. Ends up behind me, so now I'm going to cut the throttle and I force him into a defensive spiral. Now I'm at very low altitude here, so we've really got to try and force him out as fast as possible by rolling and pulling to the lift limit. Keep that lift vector on him. And what ends up happening is he overshoots, but he mustn't have managed his power, because here he ends up flying so fast that he doesn't have enough elevator authority to pull out before he crashes into the ground. Now the ground is a very important factor to consider when you're doing the defensive spiral, as it's the one thing that will help bring it to a complete stop. So when you're beginning the spiral, have an idea of what your altitude is, and also try and get a sense of how low you're getting during the spiral. This way you can finish it before you end up hitting the ground. So to counter the defensive spiral, as you come in behind the bandit, looks like he's going to start that roll and nose low turn trying to lure us in. Instead of following him down into it, you're going to do a level turn, and then as you pass his 6 o'clock you roll back towards him and begin to pull down. The idea during this is that you're going to be maintaining an offensive position but keeping your nose in lag pursuit, because you're not trying to necessarily pull for a gun solution during the spiral, but but you're just trying to maintain that position. So while he's burning off all of his altitude trying to maneuver, you're just maintaining that offensive lag position behind. So when he runs out of altitude, you'll be at his 6 o'clock with an energy and position advantage that will allow you to finish him off. If you're countering the bandit's defensive spiral, the goal is going to be to remain in an offensive lag position behind the bandit as he spirals down, or you can just allow him to escape, which will let you keep your own altitude. To do it, when the bandit commits by going nose low and rolling, you go into lag by leveling out your turn. And then as you pass his 6 o'clock, you roll back towards him to point at him again. This way you don't let him get too far away. Then you just go back into lag as needed during the spiral to maintain your offensive position. To do the counter successfully, it's important that you can recognize the bandit's intention for what he's trying to do to you by watching how he manages his pitch and roll. Avoid overcommitting yourself trying to get the shot and be forced into a spiral at high G load, as this will just make it more difficult to maintain a position as well as even achieve a gun solution. You also need to be mindful of your acceleration, so if you have an airplane that accelerates faster, you need to be more careful in this maneuver to avoid overshooting. So to do this, you'll be using lag, power and drag, all as needed while the bandit is burning off all of his altitude in a spiral, so that by the end he has no altitude left and you're behind him, so then you can come in and kill him. So that completes the video on the defensive spiral. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to share it with your friends and become a subscriber. And as always, don't forget to fly safe and check your six.